All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone. Today I'm going to be going over the warm-ups that you must do with every lesson plan. These warm-ups are characterized by repetition, meaning that you have to do them again and again in order to get good at them. So the key to mastery of these warm-ups, you have to do them at the beginning of every lesson, and you have to do each warm-up repeatedly in order to get good. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the first warm-up, which is warm-up number 1, which is the smile and pout warm-up. And we're going to do this at the beginning and the end of our warm-up. So the first warm-up is we're going to do a big smile. We're going to show our teeth, and then we're going to pout our lips. We're going to do that 10 times. That's called I call it the smile and pout warm-up. So that is one that you should do again and again. The next one is we're going to do the T versus the Ta warm-up. Now, in the English alphabet, the T is very close to the letter Ta, but it isn't quite. In this warm-up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pronounce 5 letters with the letter T, 5 words with the letter T, and then I'm going to pronounce their equivalent as if they were written with the letter Ta in Arabic. And I want you to hear the difference, and I want you to try to repeat the difference. Now, the difference between the Ta or the T sound in the English and the Ta sound in Arabic is that in the T there is an exhalation of air, which you can notice when you pronounce the T. So why don't you, if you want, you can put your hand in front of your mouth and say Tom, Tim, Timbuktu. These words with tea bag, all these words, they have an exhalation of air. That is known as that exhalation. But in Arabic, the ta sound is not characterized by that exhalation of air. So I'm going to pronounce 5 words, and then I'm going to pronounce their equivalents with the t, and then with a ta. And I want you to follow along and see if you can hear the difference and see if you can pronounce the difference. So we're going to do the 5 words. First, I'm going to do it with the T, and then I'm going to do it with the Ta. Tan. Tan. That's the first word. Teen. Teen. That's the second word. Tin. Thin. That's the third word. Tom. Dom. That's the fourth word. Tongue. Dung. That's the 5th word. So remember to try to hear the difference between the two, try to pronounce the difference between the two, and that's our second exercise, which is the T versus the exercise. Next, what I want you to do is I want you to hold your tongue between your teeth and exhale. So what you're going to do is you're not going to bring your tongue back into your mouth. You're going to hold it between your teeth, and you're going to exhale. So you're going to go like this. Almost bite your tongue with your front teeth, like this, and then exhale. Inhale through your nose and exhale through between the top teeth and your tongue, but you're not going to bring your tongue back into your mouth. So you're going to do it like this. So it's as if like you're trying to say the S, but with your tongue bitten between your teeth, like this. So do that 10 times. So I'm going to get a little bit closer to the camera so you can hear it. I'm going to do that 10 times. That's 10 times. Next, we're going to what I like to call the clean your breath, or check your breath, or clean the glass drill. In this one, or in this warm-up, what you're going to do is, imagine as if you have eaten a lot of onions and you need to check your breath if it stinks or something. What you would do is, you would find the deepest part in your throat and you would go, or as if, your glasses were dirty and you needed to clean them and you needed to fog up your glasses. The way you would do it is, you would put the glasses in front of you, you would go, okay? So that is the warm-up. I like to call it the check your breath or clean the glass warm-up. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it 10 times. We're going to say, so I'll do it 10 times. You should do it 10 times as well. That's 10 times, I think. And that's called the clean the glass or check your breath warm-up. So we're going to find the deepest part of our throat, then we're going to check the breath, or fog up the glass that when we're trying to clean it. That's what I like to call that warm-up. The next warm-up, which is the fifth warm-up, is we're going to, what I like to call the clear the throat and spit warm-up. So imagine if you have something stuck in your throat and you need to clear it. What do? You say, you find that, whatever is blocking or whatever is inside your throat, and you say, you make that sound, and you say, that's what I want you to do. So we're going to do just the sound of that part, which is called, what I like to call it, the clear your throat and spit, exercise or warm up. So we're going to do that 10 times. That's once. Okay, that's that for that warm-up. And warm-up number 6, I'm going to talk about the D versus the dal in the Arabic language. In English, the letter D is characterized by a meeting or a contact between the tongue and the top of your mouth. So whenever you say dog or disturb or any other word with the letter D, your tongue makes contact with the top of your mouth. So this is how you do it. You say dog. But in Arabic, there is no D, or there is no D sound in Arabic. It's dal, it's D. So I'm going to pronounce, just like with the T exercise, I'm going to pronounce 5 letters with the letter, 5 words with the letter D, and then I'm going to pronounce their equivalent with the letter dal, and I want you to hear the difference, and I want you to try to pronounce the difference as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to first pronounce it with the D, and then I'm going to pronounce it with the dal. Damn. Damn. That's the first word. Deem. Deem. That's the second word. Dim. Dim. That's the third word. Dawn. Dawn. That's the fourth word. Dumb. Dumb. That's the fifth word. So with each of those words, the first word I pronounced it correctly with the letter D, but then I pronounced it with the letter, or the Arabic letter dal, and I want you to hear the difference between the two. And basically the D is characterized by meeting of the tongue with the top of your mouth, but the dal sound is not. It's either behind your teeth, the tongue remains behind your teeth, and you say dal, or sometimes the tongue can come out, that I've seen that word too, dal, a little bit, and say dal. And so you're not going to say dog, you're going to say dog. You're not going to say dim, you're going to say dim. And you can rewind the video if you need to hear the difference again. The 7th exercise we're going to do is we're going to keep the tongue behind our teeth, and we're going to say Z, and we're going to bite the tongue between our teeth, and we're going to say Z. So I'll show the difference to you right now. So you're going to say Z, 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 as if as if a bee is buzzing. So how would a bee buzz? A bee buzzes like this. You go zzz, 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 zzz. Notice my tongue does not come out from between my teeth. I'm just going to say buzz, z, z. That is a simple, and that's a simple Z, very simple Z that very easy for English speakers to pronounce. But the next one is difficult. This is the dhal sound, and in this one, the tongue must come out, and you must bite the tongue between your teeth, between your front teeth, and then make the Z sound in order to make the dhal sound. So this is how we're going to do it. So for this exercise, we're going to bite our tongue between our front teeth, and we're going to say Z 10 times. So like this. Z, 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 Z. Okay? Now we're going to come into a exercise that is characterized by repetition, and this is exercise number 8. And this one you're going to, I call it the you're cold brr exercise. So if you are cold, what do you say? You say brr, I'm cold, brr. So in the English language, the R is very flat. Romeo, Rumpelstiltskin, R, resume, ring, rain, all these words that are done with R, the R is flat. The Arabic equivalent letter Ra is not flat. It is actually characterized by a little bit of repetition, but that repetition is something to be avoided. And I'll go into details of how to pronounce the letter R in a future video. But in this one, we're just going to warm up by saying R repeatedly. R, R. There isn't any equivalent in English, so that's why this warm-up is necessary. So we're just going to say it 10 times. Rrr, 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 rrr. So that's the next one. And now, number 9, I call it the quiet the child exercise. What is quiet the child? When the child is screaming and you need to tell him to be quiet, what do you say? You say, shh, shh, be quiet. Okay? So we're just going to do that 10 times. There's a sh sound. So let's do that, but no need to move your finger, obviously. Just say, shh, 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 shh. That's your quiet the child exercise. That's exercise number 9. Exercise number 10. This is the hard one. You have to get familiar with a deep part of your throat that most English speakers are not familiar with. And that part of your throat, the only real way that I've found of how to explain to an English speaker is, imagine if you have a glass of water. You have a sore throat, which I happen to have right now. It's strange, but I do. There's a slight tingle in my throat right now. But what does the doctor tell you? Do saltwater gargles. When you do saltwater gargles, if you do very deep saltwater gargles, you sometimes end up swallowing some of the water. But you don't want to end up swallowing the water. It tastes kind of bitter. You want to keep it in the deepest part of your throat, but you want to keep it above your esophagus. You don't want it going down into your stomach. So how do you do it? So I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to, let's hope it doesn't sound a little overly funny, but this is what it sounds like. Excuse me. So that what I just demonstrated for you, I hope the mic caught it. I don't know if the mic didn't catch it. But even if the mic didn't caught it, what I want you to do, and it's a little bit funny, but I want you to do it, go find a cup of glass, get a glass of water, put water in it, and put it in your throat and gargle, and find that deepest part of your throat, that before the esophagus, before it ends up going down, where you need to, when you do the saltwater gargles, that's where you're going to do it. So do that and find that part of your throat. Find that part of your throat and get familiar with it. That part of your throat, a lot of the letter sounds and sounds in the Arabic language come from that part of your throat. So get familiar with it, get used to it. So for that exercise, that's one exercise. The other one is, what you're going to do is you're going to find that part of your throat and try to make sound from it, which is going to go Chewbacca. I guess you can call it the Chewbacca exercise if you want to, but I like to call it the saltwater gargle. Very, very deep down in your throat. Do that 10 times if you can. Very, very deep part of your throat. So that's called the clear throat exercise, or the Chewbacca exercise, if that helps. Next, we're going to do what I like to call out of breath exercise. Imagine if you come running a 10-mile and you just have ran like crazy. Your heart is pumping. How would you breathe? You would breathe like this. You would go it would come from way, way deep in your chest. Way deep in your chest. You would say Specifically, I want you to focus on the exhalation part of it. So you're going to say that exhalation is what I want you to focus on. We're going to do that 10 times. So the inhalation we're not going to make sound on, even though I am. Don't do it. I'm going to try to not make sound during the inhalation. I'm just going to say that exhalation is what I want you to focus on. So just imagine you ran like 10 miles and you need to, do that. You say it comes from deep, deep, deep within your chest, and that's what I call the out of breath exercise / warm up. Then we're gonna say the exercise, which is, I believe, I think we're on exercise number 12. In this exercise, we're going to count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to count to 6 while saying but we're not going to make any inflections. So we're not going to say We're not going to make any inflections in our but we're going to count to 6 while saying So imagine if the doctor tells you to say but don't stick out your tongue. Keep your tongue inside. When the doctor asks you to do it, he asks you to stick out your tongue. Say, that's how he asks you to do it. Don't do that. Keep your tongue in your mouth. Just say and when you say you're going to count to 6. So I'm going to show you how to do that. That's 6. One more time. That's 6. One more time. That's 6. So do that 10 times. That's called I call it the exercise. So we're going to say while counting to 6 without making any inflections. Next, we're going to do the nasalization exercise. We're going to make nasal sounds. So imagine the English word min, or I think we are on exercise number 13. That's the number of exercise we're on. The word is min, min, but we're going to flatten the N out. We're going to say it like this. We're going to say min, and we're going to put emphasis on the nasal sound of the min, and we're not going to close our lips. So we're not going to do this. Mim, no. Our lips should not close. We're going to say min. Our lips will remain open, and we're going to make the N sound from our nose. So we're going to do that 10 times. Min, 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 min. So I hope that's clear. That's called the nasalization or the min exercise, which is min exercise or number 13. Number 14, we're going to do the, I don't know if you have ever played video games, but there's this, I call it the la 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 exercise. Number 14. In it, you're going to find the deepest part of your throat again. Again, that was exercise number 10, where you found a glass of water, which is gargling the water or salt water gargle exercise. And in this one, you're going to find the Z part of your throat, and you're going to say la 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 la, la 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 la. You're not going to say la 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 la. That's different exercise. I'll explain that in a minute, but we're going to say la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. See if you can find that deep part of your throat and see if you can say it like I am. La 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 la, and do it 10 times. I call it the la 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 exercise. Now, the same part of exercise as exercise 14, we're going to do Lee, like Bruce Lee. Last name Lee. But we're going to say it just like we were saying just a second ago. We're going to say Lee, 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 Lee. 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 So that is the one I like to call the la 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 exercise. I think we are on exercise number 14 still, because then these are accompanying exercises. But in this one, we're going to do the R sound, the ra 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 ra. But in a previous exercise, I believe it was exercise number 8, which is the burr exercise or your cold exercise, in which you did r sound, right? You remember that? We're going to do the same sound, but we're going to say ra 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 ra. See if you can roar, ra 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 ra, and see if you can find the deep part of your throat to make that sound, ra 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 ra, ra 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 ra. Ra 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 ra, ra 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 ra. That's called the ra 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 exercise. And then we're going to flatten that out. We're going to say re 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 re. One more time. Re 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 re. So in this previous one we were pronouncing or emphasizing the R, but we were emphasizing it from the deep part of our throat. We were saying ra 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 ra. The deep part. I'm exaggerating with my eyes. My apologies. I look funny, I know. But in the previous one, which was the ra, we were making the ra heavy. We were making the ra heavy. And this one, we're going to make the ra light. We're going to say re 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 re. So see if you can do that 10 times. And that concludes the la 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 exercise. Number 15, and this is the second to last exercise, we're going to do the nasalization exercises. In the nasalization exercises, there is, just imagine if there is 2 letters, 2 words in English, a compound word. I mean, it's an imaginary compound word, but it's written like this, IN-NA. So in and dash and then na. In and then dash and na. But we're going to combine them. We're going to say them like this. In. So IN-NA. In. Na. But we're going to combine them. I'm going to say them like this. In. In this one, the characterization is your tongue should touch the top of your mouth. You're going to say in. You're going to do that 10 times, so let's try that. In. So see if you can do that 10 times and see if you can do it the way I'm doing it. And then the next one is we're going to say, it's very similar, but we're going to replace the letter N with the letter M. So we're going to say imma. So I-M-M-A. Im-M-A. Imma. but we're going to combine them. We're going to do it like this. Im. But in the previous exercise, we were doing in. Our mouth was open, and our tongue met the top of our mouth. In this one, we're going to close our lips. We're going to say im. So in-ma, im-ma, but we're going to close our lips, and we're going to say them together. So like this. Im, 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 im. See if you can do that 10 times. Im. And finally, we're going to conclude with the big smile and pout exercise, which is to do that 10 times. And that concludes all of our exercises. Now, I know it's a lot of exercises, so don't take after. It took me a while to explain, but after you have these exercises mastered, because it's like 10 of each, and like at most it should take you each exercise like 10 seconds. So like so to say the dhal, that's 10 times. Next time you say r, that's 10 times. So there are a total of 16 exercises at about 10 seconds each. Once you have these memorized, and once you've done them enough times, you will know them by heart, and you should be able to do them in 160 to 170 seconds. So that's not much at all. So that's about 2.5 minutes. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about how lengthy this video has been. Once you have these exercises down, you will have a much better idea of how to pronounce all of these. And once you do them repeatedly, the exercises, the warm-ups, these warm-ups will come naturally to you. So I hope this helps with you on how to pronounce these letters and how to exercise the parts of your nose, your mouth, your tongue, your lips, your throat, and how to exercise those parts so that you can get ready to pronounce Arabic the way the Arabs do it. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.